Have you ever wondered why fear seems to surround us constantly? From the news that we're watching to the interactions we have at work, fear is often present, quietly guiding our thoughts and actions. I came across a very powerful quote recently. Would you like to hear it? Tough luck, I'm telling you anyway. The quote is this: "They use fear to manipulate so you are more compliant to doing what they want." It's interesting, the quote actually highlights something that we encounter every single day, often without even realizing it. Fear. Fear is frequently used as a tool to influence and to control us. Today I want to unpack that idea, how fear can be used to manipulate, why it works so effectively, and how we can protect ourselves from falling into that trap. And as always, if you get anything from this, you know what to do. Let's start by understanding why fear is such a powerful motivator. Fear has always been a survival mechanism, hasn't it? It's heightened our awareness, making us alert and tells us when something is wrong. But in today's world, fear isn't just about survival, it is also about influence. When we're afraid, we're more likely to seek guidance or authority from someone else, making us more receptive to suggestions, even if they're not in our best interest. Consider how many of the headlines that you see daily are designed to actually shock you. Stories that actually trigger our fear response tend to stay with us. This isn't an accident, it is a strategic choice. Fear grabs attention, it sells the papers, it drives the clicks to these websites and keeps people glued to their screens. Media outlets know this and often focus on worst case scenarios and exaggerate threats because it holds our attention. But what if we questioned it just for a moment? Are these stories giving us a balanced view of reality, or are they just keeping us in a state of heightened alertness? To understand why fear works so well as a manipulating tactic, let's look into the psychology behind it. When we feel afraid, our brain is constantly trying to look for answers, for someone to tell us what to do. That is called biological instinct. This response makes us vulnerable in the moment to those who can provide a sense of security, even if it is a false one or self-serving. Think about the last time that you saw a news story that truly shocked you. Maybe it was about the economic instability, or perhaps it involved health risks or global issues. How did it make you feel? Were you more likely to tune in or to follow the updates, to seek more information? That is because when we're afraid, our brain craves information. But here's the catch. Are we actually seeking facts, or are we just feeding it our fears? This phenomenon doesn't just happen in the media, it can also appear in more personal areas like the workplace. Have you ever worked for someone who uses fear tactics to control the team? Maybe it was the fear of job loss or harsh criticism. When leaders use fear to motivate, they often create a toxic environment when people comply just to avoid the negative consequences. But what we don't realise is this. This compliance isn't due to respect or genuine engagement, it's fear-based obedience. The question is, are these fears actually valid, or are they exaggerated to keep us in line? The real question is then, how do we avoid these tactics? How do we protect ourselves from being influenced by fear? The first step is awareness. We need to recognise when fear is being used against us. I've already done a book review of it, but this book right here, Darren Brown in The Book of Secrets, he highlights the importance of skepticism and open-mindedness. Darren Brown actually suggests that one of the best ways to avoid manipulation is to question everything and to avoid taking information at face value. I couldn't recommend this book enough, by the way. Make sure you go check it out. This doesn't mean that we have to reject everything that we hear. It means that we just have to dig a little deeper and look for the truth. Here are some practical steps that we can take to build this skepticism into our daily lives. Number 1, diversify your information sources. I found that one of the most simplest but effective things that we can do is to get information from multiple sources, not just one. When we rely on a single news outlet or platform, we risk seeing the world through a limited lens. Think of it, news is actually cut up into like 2-minute segments, so you cannot get the full picture from that. So what if you were to listen to, say, a long-form podcast on the same topic from the person in question that you're trying to learn about? Maybe that could give you a better insight into what that person is actually trying to do, or what they're saying. Different outlets often have their own biases and motivations, and by diversifying our sources, we can see stories from various angles. This doesn't just help us get a more accurate view, it also reduces the emotional impact of fear-driven headlines by balancing them with other perspectives too. Number 2, ask critical questions. Whenever you encounter information that triggers fear or strong emotions, pause and ask yourself a few critical questions. Who's delivering the message? What evidence supports or contradicts this claim? Questioning things doesn't make us cynical, it makes us informed. By understanding that people or outlets might have specific motivations, we empower ourselves to see beyond the surface and remain less susceptible to fear-driven manipulation. Number 3. Stay open to change. Finally, let's talk about flexibility in our beliefs. Fear often thrives on rigid thinking. If we hold too tightly to a single perspective, we become susceptible to fear-based narratives that reinforce our viewpoint, even if they are misleading. So it's important that we stay open to new, credible information, keeping us grounded in reality and allows us to update our views as needed. Being open to change isn't about constantly doubting ourselves. It's about knowing that our understanding can evolve. Think of it this way. Would you rather be grounded in a flexible reality that adapts to the truth, or rooted in a fixed belief that fear can easily manipulate? Let's consider some personal questions as we wrap this up. These are designed to help us build a healthier, more critical relationship with the information that we consume. Number 1. What sources of information do you currently trust and why? Take a moment just to evaluate them. Are they truly balanced, or are they feeding into your fear? Number 2. How can we ensure that the views are not being shaped solely by fear? Think about the media or social media that you consume every single day. Is it making you feel empowered, or is it making you feel more anxious? Number 3. What steps can you take to become more critical and informed about the world around you? This could literally mean reading more books, finding new sources, or even taking the time away from the news to recalibrate yourself. In a world where fear is often used to manipulate, awareness is our most powerful tool. We can choose not to be passive consumers of fear-driven information. Instead, we can actually be active seekers of the truth. By diversifying our sources, asking critical questions along the way, and staying open to change, we resist the influence of fear and become stronger, more grounded individuals. So let us remember one thing, is that our awareness and skepticism are strengths. Darren Brown actually put it perfectly in The Book of Secrets, this book just here, where he said that skepticism and open-mindedness are keys to understanding the world as it is. In other words, when we question the things that instill fear in us, we reclaim our power and see through the tactics designed to keep us in line. So the next time that you encounter a fear-inducing headline, or you feel pressured by a manipulative tactic, remember to pause, take a deep breath, ask questions, let your awareness be your shield. Because in the end, your understanding and resilience are far more powerful than the fear itself. Thanks for joining me on the topics of fear, manipulation, and resilience. Remember that your awareness is your greatest strength, and to use it to see the world clearly and live more authentically. Stay informed, stay empowered, and stay curious. If you got anything from this video, make sure you like and subscribe down below, and I will hopefully catch you in the next video, whatever that may be. Cheers.